All all right, Tyra. Tyra, ready for the thumbs up when you're good to go? And we're going to bring you to the stage. How's it going? Oh, let me take you off mute. Okay. How is it going, Tyra?
That'll work.
Love the background. That was my background before this one right now, but I wanted to have like a night show feel. So I love that background. But yeah, let the people know, if you got anything going on that you want to share, how people can follow you. Like I said, you've always kept it real with the comments on my page. I love the engagement, so I really appreciate that. But anything you feel like sharing, let me know before we, ask you a few questions.
Okay. So I am a financial literacy coach and influencer. I help people have better relationships with their money and help them release some of their financial anxiety. Help people with their personal and business credit, and funding business owners as well. Helping business owners fund their businesses. And I'm also very, very, very big on mindset. So the two sisters you just had up here, I was like totally in love. I really was.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking earlier, I was like, man, like this was amazing. Like everyone that I reached out to was only a few other people, but I'm like, I'm glad you guys were here because you guys did amazing. And when you said financial literacy, we gotta connect offline because KGMinc.com, we're trying to get a lot of discussion going for people of color, from financial literacy to understanding how to file taxes, how to have multiple streams of income. So when you said financial literacy in business, my ears started ringing. I'm like, okay, cool. So that wasn't by coincidence. So you gotta connect on that.
That's divine, man. That's divine. Always. God is in the alignment business all the time. Okay.
Yep. That's how it works. So I can't wait to connect. Submission is a hot topic word, something that I throw on my page, and I want to let you ladies know what I do on my page. Right? I know some of the questions.
I know what you do. You throw a lot of bait out there.
I throw bait out there, but a lot of times I want people to see when they're commenting how idiotic some of those statements are, those posts are, because. Like for one, I use, people having kids out of wedlock, right? And then someone calling that a sin. But then you look in the comment section and saying like, oh, overeating is a sin. Hitting your wife is a sin. Why do we pick and choose what sin is? So they don't know I'm doing that. I gave you guys a secret, but that's literally the mindset, is to kind of like let people see that your views, your experiences shape your thoughts.
Yes.
And sometimes you got to unlearn that stuff to learn something new. So that's the goal of that. But let me know, what do you initially, when you hear the word submission, what do you hear?
First and foremost, who is it coming from? Number one. So like they were using, like Victoria used the word like worldly and all that good stuff. It has to be number one. You have to consider the source, consider the author. Who is it coming from? So if it's coming from a person who I know to be of shady character, it's going in one ear. And don't get me wrong, I listen to everything, but it's going to go out the other. But if it's coming from a man with good intention, then I'm thinking, when I hear submission, I'm thinking about partnership. I'm thinking about trust. Because what people need to understand, as for a woman, when a man leads properly, women will naturally follow every time. And that's as long as his intentions are good. Because come on, we know when the intentions are not good. We do. Okay. And then sometimes another thing is, like I said, coming back to the trust factor, and we talking about this is just not a heterosexual type relationship. It can be boss, it can be business, it can be family. Like if I know you to be, the weed smoker down the street, and you talking about, well, you a woman, you supposed to submit to this and stuff like this, and I'm like, nah. Like I said, dude, is in one ear out of the other. But when a man naturally leads, a woman will naturally follow if his spirit is in the right place. That means his heart is in the right place and his brain. All three are totally in line, right? We always go back to the Trinity, period. When those three things are in line, a woman will naturally follow. And if she don't, she ain't the woman for you, no matter where the dynamic is, because it don't have to be a romantic relationship. Like I said, it can be a number of other things. She ain't the woman for you.
And like you're spot on with you saying that, a woman looking at a guy and this guy don't got nothing right, and he telling her
right if he a clown.
Yeah, and it's like the only person that follows the clown is his his circus mate, at the circus. So the fellas out there, and I say this all the time, you gotta have a drive, you gotta have vision, you gotta have, and that all comes from not themselves but from God. Once God sets out the vision for that man, the woman looks at it like, okay, he getting his direction not from himself but from God, so I can follow that.
Yes.
But these men are basically saying jump, roll, hop, skip, all that. They're looking at it from a worldly sense, or maybe what they saw in an Ike and Tina movie, but that is not the necessary way to handle in a relationship. Like I'll tell you, because I want to let you ladies know, those couples that are together for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, they got to understand it. We can make it sound as complex as we want, but they have understanding. Yeah, you the leader of this, right? But you ain't gonna get out this kitchen. I'm in here. You don't know what you're doing in here. Get out. Or when he working on the car, this ain't your place, right? So in a relationship, everyone knows their role. Everyone knows, the part that they play. Now, the submission piece that all you guys are really spot on about is that when you submit to someone, it is not abuse. When you submit to someone, it is not them taking advantage of you or manipulating you.
But that's the issue. That's so when you're with a partner and they don't come with the proper point of reference. So then when you say submit, I'm hearing abuse, I'm hearing slave, I'm hearing doormat. I mean, all the negative things are associated with that. So if you've done more treating me bad than treating me good, but you want me to submit to you, all you're telling me is that you want to continue to walk all over me. True story. I'm coming from a real point of reference right there. Not just what I seen on the street or in the movies. I lived that life. So, like I said, when I hear the word submit, who is it coming from? And then look, referring back to what you said, number one thing is the communication and knowing your roles. And people think roles are just because I'm a woman, my role don't mean I'm in the kitchen. Your role doesn't mean you just always mowing the lawn. No, your role is what your understanding is in a relationship. And where people miss the ball is the communication part as what their roles are in relationships. So a lot of that boils down to communication as well. Just like, and then we know there's a divine, so to bring it back to spirituality, we know there's a divine order. We know God is the head, of course, then it was Christ, because he's the head of the church, and then there's the man who's the head of the household. And his wife, of course, I think it's Imani when she said to help me. Yes, the wife is the help me, but there's an understanding. I'm your help me, but we are partners. I'm not just, I'm not your slave. You know what I mean? You're not my slave. You're not my pimp. None of that stuff. We are partners. We are companions as well. Yes, I am your helpmeet, because if I'm gonna help you be better, that's what I'm gonna do. If you come into my life to be better, that's what we gonna do together. Like Beyonce had that song, "Let Me Upgrade You," back in the day. That's some true stuff. She said, "Bring me in the office just to make the deal and all that stuff." She playing her role. That's her role for her helpmeet. It is like I'll be honest. When I first heard that song, that's an old song, right? At least 15 years old. I didn't understand it, but as I grew older, I understood it. She said, "Let me upgrade you. Let me help you be a better you," and that's what we're supposed to do as partners. Not just you shining and I'm in the dark. Not just me shining and you in the dark. No, we're supposed to help each other be better. Period.
You dropping bars because it made me think of, like, let's say somebody has a phone, right? And you ever seen those chargers that has 2 ports so that you can charge 2 different things? You might be able to charge your phone and a tablet or iPad.
Mm-hmm.
That's how relationships is. If you guys aren't both being charged, with God or charged with positivity, if you guys are not improving each other, like, who that man is in year 1, he should not be in year 5. And for a woman as well, like, you should be like on a whole nother level. And it's not because of just one person. It's like equally, we make each other better. You hear a lot of people say behind every man, there's a strong woman, right? Or if there's a good woman, that's vice versa. And behind a woman, this is a supportive, loving, caring man. And we got to stop this mindset in our society of saying it's a man versus a woman.
No, never.
We got to put the plus sign in the middle,
right,
of saying man plus woman or woman plus man. And that equals success. That equals growth and longevity. And I think you've really tackled some really important points is, hey, man, get yourself together. Like I tell men all the time is I don't think men should get in a relationship until their mindset is right. I tell that all the time. Like, I don't care how beautiful these fellas think these girls look, whatever. If your mind ain't right, you might mess up something good. Like, you wasting her time. She could be with somebody that got his stuff together, and you're just wasting her time. So I tell men and women, have your mindset together, because when you come together with someone, it isn't what I ain't going to do. It's going to be like, hey, we're both going to do some things that is out of our comfort zone. But that's how you grow. If both of you guys go in there and say, I'm not doing this, that's beneath me, and the other person say, that's beneath me, then what happens? There was someone that I saw one time that I want to share with you guys. I saw someone that was shoveling snow, right? And he was shoveling it, and then his wife came out, or his significant other came out, and she started shoveling with him. She might not have got as much snow as he got. But I guarantee the look on his face to see that he had his partner. He had someone out there and say, hey, I'm with you. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. We in this together. And I think we got to get those relationships back. Those relationships back where Eve, if anyone really want to look up Eve in the Bible, she was out there with Adam. They were both out there taking care of the garden. And we've got into a society nowadays where it's like, we try to pick and choose. Anything that we don't like or is beneath us, we don't tackle. So I thank you guys for really giving some insight. I'm going to let you guys go around and give your final word. I'm going to start with you, Tyra. Final word. What advice, and I want to do this with the fellas too, what advice can you give to men of how they should approach talking about submission with a woman? Like, what advice would you give to them?
Before a man, and this works both ways, woman too. Before a man needs to go to a woman that he feels he want to spend the rest of his life with, he needs to go do the inner work on himself and the woman as well. And I'm saying that because, unfortunately, a lot of us from where we've come from, people, and Victoria said so many broken people, there are too many broken people. And then we come together, they call them like trauma bonds, and we come together because I experienced this. Oh, I did too. Me too. Me too. Then it's like, oh, we supposed to be together. And now I got all this trauma bundled up. You got all this trauma bundled up. I can't deal with myself. You can't deal with yourself. And then we wonder why we can't deal with each other. Man, what I say to this, I'm a trained counselor as well. So we need the work. And when I'm talking, we need ministry, and as in we need to go to God, we just need to stop just going to God with stuff. But I don't think enough people are going to God. Number one, We need to go to God, but people need to understand that we do need a physical being as well to minister to us. And what I mean by that is therapy. We got to work through these traumas and all these things that's happened to us, living in survivor mode. A child going through things children shouldn't have gone through, shouldn't have seen. You know, I'm not gonna go real deep because I might have some people crying up in here. But we need to go learn, and we need to deal with our stuff, okay, individually, and then deal with our stuff together before we even really need to be thinking about spending the rest of our lives together, man. Because if I had a really screwed up relationship with my father, if he had a really screwed up relationship with our mothers, how does that put into the type of scope of how I see the opposite sex for both of us? You know, how many women around here, they can't stand their father because their father wasn't in their life, or they dad was a dirty dog. How much reference is that putting on her for the men she see in the street? For men that a lot, like you said, you was raised by a single mother, most of us was. How many men out here have seen their mother do all types of crazy stuff, whatever crazy is to them, and that shaped and formed the way they look at women? And then now you come to me talking about, oh, I want you to submit. Meanwhile, you running around angry at women because you angry at your mother. And you never dealt with it. Y'all never dealt with it. Mama trauma, daddy trauma, all that stuff. So we got to get right with ourselves, get right with God. I always say, pray on it, but go to therapy too. Get it right, and then come together and stay together the right way, as God intended.
Thank you, Tyra. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. All right, Victoria.
All right, guys. How'd I do? Tell me how I did, y'all.
Uh-oh. It says...
There I go.
Sorry about that. I think I just say thumbs up, too. Apologies.
No, that's okay.
Final words to men in regards to submission, advice.
I want y'all to listen to this. I want y'all to listen
for younger men, older men, whoever who can use some advice.
I think there was a lot of fruit in tonight's talk, and very wise women. And absolutely, God first, but God does use people as vessels, therapists, mentors, disciples. So that's what we're here for. So I would just say definitely check the intentions, and, lead from love, and, try to mirror, how Christ loves his bride, his church, and your relationships. It's designed beautifully and perfectly, and, that's the way. He is the way.
Thank you, Veronica, and for joining us on tonight's show. I really appreciate you and Tyra. Thank you for your words of wisdom.
Thank you.
All right, thumbs up. Okay, I'm sorry, and let Tyra and Victoria do the thumbs up. So I gotta bring Monty to the stage, close us out. What are your thoughts? What would be your advice to men out there who, with their thoughts of submission? Like, what advice would you give those men?
Right on. The ladies were great. I loved it. Great episode. Again, thank you so much for having me here. So I started to write stuff so that I didn't lose my train of thought. I said a man should begin, of course, with, saying with the same thing the ladies are saying. The conversation with intentions. If she's not willing to agree, right? If she's not even agreeing, or she's not aligning, you can hear it in what people are saying, then don't mess with her. And I'll share with you what I shared with one of my family members. If you don't want a relationship, don't get involved with a woman who does, because it always gets messy. If you must date, then choose a woman who's on the same page. There are women out here who don't want a relationship, but most importantly, invest in healing, and always have someone that you're accountable to, a mentor, starting with healthy people that have been married for like 20 plus years, 10 plus years. A lot of people are married, but a lot of people are miserable. They say happy wife, happy life. No, switch that to happy spouse, happy house. Your husband should be happy as well, right? And that's going to take, like everybody's saying, that trust, that communication, providing those safe spaces, and really holding each other accountable with compassion as well. You know, check out those healthy people. I mean, there's Pastor R.C. Blakes, there's Body Bachman, amazing people. David Burrows, you know what I'm saying? We got our bro right here, Brother Ivory. You know what I'm saying? Look for people who are actually in healthy relationships and listen to them. Don't listen to Pookie, and hold your friend Pookie accountable too, because after you get a good woman, a lot of times we done dealt with Pookie. You know what I'm saying? So hold your friends accountable, and that's what I'll say.
Thank you. I really appreciate you coming on here, and thanks for joining us on the night show, man.
No doubt. Thanks for having me, bro. Thank you.
Absolutely.